my neck, my back. Do, just like that, right? I said, hey, my neck, my back. Do, like that, right? What is going on, everybody? It's Mr. B here, and welcome back. And today I want to talk about an issue in the security industry. Actually, any industry right now it could be applied to. Do you know what that is? Workers' compensation, right? My neck, my back, do, like that. Here we go now. Workers' compensation. How does it work? And some of the issues, such as fraud from the employee or just insurance company employers, they're not paying out, right? So let us get into it, right? So this is specifically geared towards New York State, right? So in New York State, the New York State government says that employers must carry workers' compensation insurance coverage as well as disability insurance, right? So what does that mean? Okay, you're at work, you legitimately get hurt at work, right? You lose time from work, you got to go to doctors, hospital, maybe. Da, da, da. It says that if you file some paperwork, right, with your employer in a timely manner, right? You have a certain amount of time to do it at any rate, but you want to do it as soon as possible, right? Why do I say as soon as possible, right? Because now, if you got hurt and you said, you know what, it just feels like nothing, and 2, 3, 4 months go by, next thing you know, you realize you have a major injury now, right? So you don't want to wait. Like if you legitimately get hurt at work and you need to go to the hospital, you need to go to the doctors about the work-related injury, you need to let your employer know right away. Don't sit on it, right? So anyway, you file the paperwork, right? The employer goes, they do their little internal investigation, they kick it on over to the insurance company. The insurance company then takes care of it from there, right? So what does the insurance company do? The insurance company will immediately say, we're going to investigate this individual, determine if the accident really occurred at work or not, or maybe they're stretching it to try to get some money and da 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 da. So the insurance company is going to do their own thing, right? As well as the company, security company, if we're talking about the security industry, they're going to do their investigation. They may send a private investigator after you to watch you, see what you're up to, see what you're doing. And believe it 100%, the insurance company will send a private investigator after you, right? Because their goal is, okay, for us to see if this person is really injured, right? So private investigator may follow you around, may sit outside of your house, may sit outside the perimeter of your house and just look at you, spy on you, take pictures, videos of you. And whatever is in plain view, plain sight, they can do, right? If they wanted to fly a drone up and zoom into your windows or zoom into your backyard, right? They can do this. If they wanted to follow you to the supermarket, they can do this. If they wanted to follow you to the doctor's appointment, a private investigator in the state of New York can do this. It's totally within their right, right? They're licensed private investigators. So, with that being said, if you're legitimately hurt at work, you are entitled to fill out a workers' compensation claim, no matter how big or how small it is. But in saying that, workers' compensation is not like it was, whatever, 10, 15, 20 years ago, where you can just make a claim, then all of a sudden, you're getting a certain amount of money, or you're out of work for 2 months, they pay you for the 2 months, but then on the side you're working for a car share service or a food delivery service. Let me tell you something. If you get caught working when you're supposed to be out of work, right? If it's doctor's orders or whatever, or even if it was like light duty or something, I don't want to get it complicated. Just saying the doctor says, hey, look, your injuries are so severe that you need off of work for 2 months, right? And the insurance company and the security company sends a private investigator after you, and they see you. All right, just saying uh, you pulled something in your back, right? And now, okay, they send the private investigator after you, and now you are seen in public going to the gym, swimming, doing jumping jacks and jumping rope and all this other physically, intense and demanding type of activities. You are going to be in some trouble, right? If they get you on camera doing any of that, you are in big trouble, right? You may have to pay back what they had given you. Your future claims, current claims may be denied. Now you're on the hook for all of the medical bills, right? Or even just saying you went to court, right? You went to the Workers' Compensation Board court, and the judge said, "Well, I believe these injuries, da 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 da, likely, da 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 da." You know, Security company, insurance company, hey, look, you need to pay so and so, for their time out of work, their doctor bills, blah blah blah, whatever, right? And you get that judge's order, and for some reason, they found out after the fact that you were lying about your injuries, or you had your doctor beef up, spice up the story to make it look like worse than what it was. Yeah, you're going to be in trouble, right? You're going to have to pay everything back. You actually may go to jail. You may go to jail for fraud. It is insurance fraud to try to defraud an insurance company in the state of New York. But again, if you're hurt, legitimately hurt, make that report with your employer. But at the same time, know that as soon as you make, if you fill out the C3, that's a form that it's called. As soon as you get that filled out, you notify them of the incident and how it happened and blah, 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 maybe an internal report. That becomes a legal document, right? So you are on the hook if you lie or make something up, or even if you have a pre-existing injury, right? This is another thing, right? If you have, all right, the Workers' Compensation Board is going to get up into your medical history. So just saying you hurt your back 20 years ago, and now it's whatever, it's 20 years later, you got hurt at your job, you tweaked your back a little bit, and it's the same injury that you had from 20 years ago, but you try to push it off on your current employer because you don't like them or whatever, blah, 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 blah. No, 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 no. The doctors, it's not just a judge, it's a board of doctors as well. They are going to get up into your medical history and they're going to see you had pre-existing injury. So they may say, hey, look, we're not covering 100% of the bills or whatever, or the salary because it was a pre-existing injury. We're only going to cover 20%. And then you're responsible for the rest, right? That's what's going to happen if you have a pre-existing injury. So you need to be truthful in disclosing everything that's gone in. Like a C3, it may say, hey, is this a pre-existing injury? Legally, you need to say yes, because I'm telling you right now, if you try to short your employer, their insurance company, and the Workers' Compensation Board, it's not going to fare well for you. It's going to catch up. I've been through the process myself, right, with legitimate injuries before. You know how long it actually took to, and I can't say much because at the end of it, I had to sign a settlement with this organization saying that I won't disclose the specifics and the settlement amount, so I can't tell you. So at any rate, it took 4 years to investigate and to get my money that was owed, right? All I wanted was to cover the doctor's bills. It was a very serious type of situation going on with me. I wanted the doctor bills covered, and I wanted back pay, right? And what did that employer have to say about that, right? So they basically didn't believe that what had happened. Meanwhile, it was found to be 100% factual, right? So what the Insurance Compensation Board will do is allow the employer to, well, it's not even the employer, it's the insurance company. It will allow the insurance company to controvert the claim, meaning that we don't believe the claim, or we don't believe we're at fault, right? Or that employee's lying. So they will allow the employer to controvert it. And if the employer controverts the claim in the period of investigation, you're not going to get paid, right? You may get paid. The Workers' Compensation Board may say, hey, look, start paying them this of their average weekly salary, or a portion of it, while we investigate this and see what's going on, right? They may do that. But then again, don't get caught working another job while you're out on workers' compensation without approval from your doctor and the Workers' Compensation Board, because they will get up into your stuff with private investigators. They will get up into your tax reportings to state and federal, and they will get up in your medical records. So you need to be honest, right? It's not like what it used to be, a slip and fall. Maybe your back is just a little sore, but then you get up and you go out to, the pool and all this other stuff, and slides, and to the gym, right, where they would just pay you. No, they don't want to give up any money anymore because of the economy. So they're going to do their best to do their due diligence, and they're going to try to find something on you so they don't have to pay, right? And hey, it's not the employer, right? As an employer, we pay insurance companies to process, handle, and deal with these things ourselves. With them, let them deal with it, right? So I tell my employees, hey, look, if you got hurt, let me know right away. Fill out the incident report. We'll get the paperwork started if you want to file a workers' compensation claim. But I also want to be a realist to them, right? I want to tell them the process that's involved, right? It's not an instant boom. I got hurt at work. I need a week off. I'm going to get paid for that week. No. It doesn't work like that, right? So, the employer can go, hey, look, oh, I'm so sorry, you're off. Let's use your PTO or your sick time, or but which you have to burn through first is your sick time, and okay, so now you used up all your PTO, sick time. Hey, look, I'm going to give you another week or two off while we figure out what the insurance goes. Some companies may do that, right? But other big companies, or whatever smaller companies may be struggling, may not be able to do that. You'll have to wait until the Workers' Compensation Board makes some type of injunction, or just some type of temporary relief, right? So don't have it in your head that you're going to get hurt, or you might have a small injury, but you're going to try to make it bigger than it is, right? So I will tell you a story about myself, right? I told you I was out on workers' compensation a long time ago. It's about the private investigator part, right? So I'm the type of person, obviously, anywhere I go, I'm looking. Even when I'm on this podcast, I'm looking around, and I know nobody's in here, but you never know. So at any rate, it's just part of being that type of security individual, right? Situational awareness is what we call it, right? We know all the exits, the entrances, what we're going to do if something happens. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, and things like it. But anyway, not to go off on a tangent. So I went out shopping, right? Because I need to eat, right? I need to eat. Anyway, so I got like very light packages. It wasn't big shopping. I think it was like a pack of chicken breasts and maybe some mashed potatoes. I'm sorry, regular raw potatoes, and this and that and that and whatever. This is not a cooking show, right? So I went out. I got like maybe a bag. No, it was 2 bags, right? So I balanced the weight between both hands, even though I don't like doing that, because if you're carrying, your gun hand, your draw hand always needs to be available. But at any rate, let's not go off on tactics, right? So anyway, and I get to the back of my car. Obviously, my back is hurting. They had me on some medicine. Yes, I wasn't supposed to be driving, but when you're on that medicine for so long, it's like taking a Tic Tac. It doesn't even affect you. But at any rate, so anyway, I get to the back of my car, and I'm like, wait a second. What is that car doing sitting across over there, sitting there like that? They have a direct line of sight of me over there. So something weird is going on. So I took like a position of cover, like just so I could see what's going on. I don't know if they have a gun and they're going to shoot me. They got a rifle or whatever. So I take a look, see what's going on. It didn't look like anything crazy. So I went back down to the trunk of my car, and I'm doing everything. I look back up quick, and I can see now this individual was pointing. It was clearly a camera, right? It was camera. This individual was pointing a camera at me. So I'm like, this mother beep, who is this? And then I was like, is it a stalker? Is it a, this or this? And then I said, wait a second, this is definitely a private investigator. So I said, you know what? Screw this. You're not going to sit up there and be watching me like that, like some pervert. So I put everything back in the car. I went over to the car. The car sped away, right? Got his license plate, And I was like, you know what? Let me see if this person comes back. So I go back to my car, do this and that. And then the car, eventually the car comes back, right? So at this point, I speed over to the car, and then he takes off, flying through public streets. I think I actually scared him. And so he went through stop signs, right? He went through red lights. Like, bro, like I'm not coming after you to kill you. Like, what the? I just want to talk about find out who you are. I mean, I know you're probably a private investigator, but you want pictures? I'll show you some pictures, right? But at any rate, so then I called it into the local police, right? They ran the plate for me. I don't want to say where because I don't want to get in trouble. They ran the plate for me, and it came back to the heck did it come? It came back to like some investigation company out of Albany. Let's just say that's who the car was registered to. But that's all they could tell me. And then, they attempted to make contact with the person. They never answered, whatever. So that's just my short story about being out on workers' comp. Your company or the insurance company, most of the time it's the insurance company, right? Because why am I going to pay for a private investigator, if we have private investigators, right? But we want to be independent. So we pay the insurance company to do that, right? So the insurance company will always send a private investigator after you. So it's important to, if you're hurt, let your job know, right? But just don't expect to get money right away because it does not work like that anymore. And don't expect to try to turn a pre-existing injury into like this is fresh because it's not going to work. They're going to get up into your stuff, right? And again, if you're out on workers' compensation, don't be caught working outside of your restrictions, let's just say, right? If you're on bed rest, don't be outside swimming. Don't be outside, jumping jacks. Don't be doing aerobics classes and stuff like that because they will get you. Now, the private investigators don't come out like the day after you make the day after you make the claim. They don't. Why do they do that? Because people know, hey, look, they're going to know people might be after them. They're going to wait some time until you get comfortable, until you drop your guard, right? That's when they'll get you, right? When you least expect it. That's how private investigators operate for workers' compensation fraud, right? And another thing I want to say, right? Just saying you are awarded some type of permanent disability, right? If you slipped at work and this, and every other thing happened, now you can't work anymore, and you get awarded a permanent disability rating and a check from your employer, and it says this, you're permanently disabled, but just say 5 years go by. They got you on video tacking down shackles on people's houses, right? They got you out there carrying pallets or bags of concrete, right? They've got you there teaching an aerobics class. Meanwhile, you're supposed to be 100% disabled, right? They're going to take you back to court, right? Just saying the judge awarded you something and a disability rating, right? And let's just call it, they gave you a disability rating in, 2020, right? and right now it's 2024, don't think that the private investigators are done with your ass. No, they're not. Not at all. They'll periodically check on you. And it's happened before. People have gone to jail or had to pay a big fine and pay back what was given to them because they were found doing stuff that they weren't supposed to do. I know of a case of individual law enforcement. I don't want to say much because I'm not disrespecting him. He was in New York, got hurt at work, whatever, got 3/4 or whatever it is. And, he was out of work, disability, workers' comp, whatever. And I don't know if I want to say too much. Anyway, he had like a construction company, call it, right? And he was seen doing this type of work, building pools, building decks, tacking down tiles, and this and that. And it was like 10 years after the accident, right? And he got into some big, big trouble, right? And there's other similar cases like that too. But to sum it up, just saying you do get a disability rating and you get some type of payment or back pay, and whether you accepted a lump sum or like a continuing payment like monthly or whatever, if they suspect that you are lying or they do like a follow up on you and they see you doing this stuff, all that stuff goes bye bye, right? And now you got to pay them back, maybe spend time in jail. And, it's just unfortunate. So, moral of the story is if you're hurt, definitely do not wait. Make it known to your employer, file the necessary paperwork, go to the doctors, whatever, go to the hospital, make sure you keep copies of everything you do, right? So, if you have to go to the emergency room and it's workers' comp, make sure you tell registration when they come up to you to register you that it's workers' comp related, right? They'll also give you a C3 to fill out and some other paperwork to fill out that you have to bring back to your employer. But it's important, if it's work related, you need to tell the emergency room that it's a work related incident, right? Because in the state of New York, if you go to the hospital and say it's a work related incident, they're going to put it down as workers' comp being the billable account, right? And another thing, don't try to make up a story and go in there and just say it's workers' comp and it's not, because they're still going to find your ass and track you down and make you pay once they found out that you lied. But in the event that you do get hurt, go to the hospital, tell registration it's workers' comp, right? Get the paperwork, fill it out, have your employer fill it out. They'll submit it to the Workers' Compensation Board. You're supposed to submit it to the Workers' Compensation Board. Basically, it tells you date, time, location, how the incident happened, how you felt. Did you ever have pre-existing injuries? Right? So make sure you keep a copy of that, and the insurance, Workers' Compensation Board will get back to you when time permits. So the same thing with going to the doctors, right? If you're going to the doctors for workers' comp, check with the insurance company first, right? The initial appointment, whatever, I guess you can go tell them it's workers' comp, but doctors thereafter will always be doctors that the insurance company signs, right? They'll send you to independent doctors to look into your health situation, see how they can help you, prescriptions, right? They'll give you a little card that says blah, 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 and it's just basically workers' compensation card, insurance card for prescriptions related to your injury, or even, doctor visits, right? They'll send that to you eventually, right? But, during the entire process, they may send you to an independent medical examiner. And I've been to a few of them. And what's interesting is they all said the same exact thing. They verified my injuries. So why other people didn't think it was true, I have no idea. But we can't talk too much about that by name. So it's risky business, right? Don't get yourself in trouble. If you're hurt, make sure you go get treated, right? If the injury didn't happen while on the job there, don't think that you're going to get away with it, because eventually it will catch up to you. And so for now, just take care of yourself, be well. And I guess I'll see you later. Tune into the next podcast, and Thank you for coming in today. Hold on a second. Something has transpired. Oh, here we go. So, I'll see you on the next one.